I was looking through the App Store the other day trying to find some more cool sound designy apps that I can use on my iPad. I use an iPad Mini 6, by the way, for all of my iPad videos. Fits in a backpack, does everything I need it to do. So I love this little thing. And in my explorations of the App Store, I came across something that got me pretty excited. There's a developer called Burns Audio who they've taken some retired Mutable Instruments hardware and turned them into free iOS apps. And there's one in particular that I was very excited to see included. There's an emulation of the Mutable Instruments Clouds in here, which was my first Eurorack module and one that I love very much. In fact, one of my favorite free plugins is a plugin called Plus Plus Bubbler that is also an emulation of Mutable Instruments Clouds and the software underneath the hood of that module. But now there's one for iOS, or there has been one for a while, and I just found it now. Let's jump into AUM here real quick. I have Fugue Machine Classic sending MIDI to Decent Sampler up here in the routing. You go here, and you got Fugue Machine sending audio to Decent Sampler. Decent Sampler is running RIA Multisynth from here at Fieldtone Audio. You can get the full version of RIA Multisynth for $15, or you can get RIA Fragments, which includes 4 patches from RIA Multisynth for free. Decent Sampler is free. It runs on iPhone, iPad, desktop. The Fieldtone Audio Fragments line is free and compatible with obviously anywhere that you run Decent Sampler. So I'll put links to those in the description as well if you want to grab those. Again, full version, $15, 20 patches, free version, free, 4 patches. And you can make sounds very similar to what we're going to be looking at here. So Fugue Machine, go into Decent Sampler, and then let's put in this Burns Audio Granular, which is Mutable Instruments Clouds. And already you have that familiar pitch shifting granular sound that you know and love from Clouds, or that I know and love from Clouds. There's a few parameters on the main panel here, which you might also recognize if you have used Mutable Instruments Clouds, or if you've seen what it looks like. You have position, size, pitch, gain, density, texture, and freeze. And those, I believe, are all of the parameters that are on the actual Mutable Instruments Clouds. Position, input, density, texture, size, pitch, and then blend. But blend has its own page here. So you get a dry wet, you get a reverb, which wasn't directly available on the panel of Mutable Instruments Clouds. You had to kind of do a little bit of menu diving to adjust the reverb. So it's nice that they just have that here. You got the dry wet, so that's the blend, a volume, a stereo panner. So you're gonna hear the sound kind of go a little bit further in the stereo field, and then as you bring that down, it'll go back towards being mono there in the middle. So I like that spread out a little bit, because why not? Really cool to have built-in reverb if you don't already have a reverb app that you enjoy. So you got some reverb right there. And then you have feedback, which will kind of push this into self-oscillation territory. But that can get pretty loud, so definitely put a limiter on your channel if you want to use that. Up on the top of the blend page, you have a couple different modes. There's granular, there's time stretch mode, which is really cool. So these things over here will affect that differently. Then you got looping delay, which just makes some crazy sounds. Could play with that forever. Then you have spectral mode, which also just gets insane. You can see the texture knob really does a lot to the overall sound inside here. The density will change how many grains there are overall. And then, of course, you have size, which is how big the grain is. Here we have really tiny grains, but a lot of them, which kind of blurs the sound. Could be really cool, especially if you have that reverb turned up. And put some of the dry signal back in. Get pretty, you can get a pretty washy sound that way. And then just back to the original granular mode. The position lets you kind of scrub through and it'll choose where it pulls the grains from. Over here you have like the beginning of the loop essentially. And then over here you have more towards the end of the sound. If at any point you want to freeze it, it'll just freeze on that one setting. Putting reverb on that sounds really cool. Like this already would be a really cool background texture in a track. You can tell it's got like kind of a rhythmic element, so you could easily build a drum loop around what the grains are doing in this and have that all kind of tie together. And unfreeze it. Okay, put the wet all the way back up so we can hear what this app is actually doing. Up in the top right, you got high stereo, high mono, which kind of just bypasses that stereo panner. Then you got low stereo, which makes it lo-fi, which I enjoy. Most of the apps that I use and a lot of the music that I make is around like the lo-fi ambient kind of meditative zone, all kind of in that field, in that realm. That low stereo setting really appeals to me. It warms my heart, you know, my lo-fi cassette heart. And then lo-fi mono. So again, if you don't already have reverb, if you don't already have a lo-fi app, there are free options for both of those, but this has that built in. Crank up the reverb on the lo-fi, go back out to granular. On the right here, you have a configurable XY pad, and it can get kind of crazy. So we could have the density size. Right now, I think it's triggering reverb. I think it's doing a few different things right now. Then you have an LFO if you want to send an LFO anywhere. That'll kind of modulate a parameter, so we could send an LFO. Could send an LFO to size. Slow, pulse, stepped, random LFO. If you want to set a specific number on a parameter, you can just double click any of these and then you'd be able to type in, let's do 9 or 5. Or 0 or negatives. Volume down. There we go. You could put in literally any whatever effects you have. I love the sound of a delay effect after grains. I think that sounds really cool pretty much always. pull out the LFOs on this, dial this in the way that we want it. This sounds super cool. Like, this sounds so cool. And this is just the grains, so none of the synth. We can put some of the synth back in. And you can put your own reverb on here. Throw this guy on here. I don't use this nearly enough. This, I mean, I could just keep adjusting these parameters. You can hear how incredible this sounds. Of course, I am now out of free app territory. I'm into things that I've paid for now. Oh, Undulator on here would be cool too. Now, if you really want to get weird, put this at the end. Put the grains at the end of the effect chain. So now you're just getting small grains of everything that's already being processed. I'm gonna record this, and I will put this up on the Field Tone Audio Patreon. There's a few different tiers of the Field Tone Audio Patreon. Of course, there's some paid tiers where you get access to different things. Then there is the free tier where I share stuff like this, stem packs, little audio streams. I'll be sharing some more sessions of just like sound design on an iPad or on desktop. And I have a completely free public tier. You can go to patreon.com/fieldtoneaudio and just see all of the resources that I've shared as like a resource hub for people to have access to, completely free. Clearly, I need to play with, how do you say, Rymdigare? This thing's fantastic. What is happening? This audio file will be up on the Field Tone Audio Patreon for free members, so you will have to join the Patreon to grab this download, but it'll be free if you want to grab that. Thanks for watching. Check out Ria Multisynth and Ria Fragments from here at Field Tone Audio. Links to everything I used today will be in the description. Grab that audio file at the Field Tone Audio Patreon, completely free. Happy creating. We'll talk soon.